Hello and welcome back, everyone. My name is Maticus. This is my third video for the YouTube channel, and today I am talking about getting into the cybersecurity industry and the industry that has popped up around getting into the cybersecurity industry. Um, I'll talk some about my experience and probably more about my opinions. Um, just because this is something that I've done relatively recently in my life, and um, I'm following with the theme of talking about things that I have a lot to say about. Um, all right, excited to go on this journey with y'all. So, the first thing that I want to do is I just want to show you the search terms that kind of come up, right? And many of you may be familiar with this depending on who you are and what kind of audience my videos are getting fed to. By the way, if you're new here, please like and subscribe. I'm trying to get some momentum with the algorithm, and you guys are helping, and I appreciate it. So that's what we're trying to do right now is get to 100 subscribers. And I think we can crush that goal. So thank you so much for your help and support. So, how to get a cybersecurity job with no experience, no degree. How to get a job in Google, job abroad, Canada, UK, Dubai, right? Like, people are trying to get into this industry with the intention of changing their lives. They know it's high paying. They know it's possible to get into without certain requirements and in some situations, and so many people are interested in entering the arena, right? And I am not one to dissuade those people. I'm an advocate for those people. I am those people. Um, there are a lot of folks in the security community that are by nature gatekeepers. And some of those systems have good outcomes and some of those systems have bad outcomes. I often find that there are gatekeepers who are in bad situations that got themselves there by gatekeeping at various levels security initiatives, like who they will let security initiative come from, who they will trust with information that is relevant to the security or the data security of their company. And it's a plague, right? Like, new and fresh ideas are valuable. And that's why it is possible to get into security with no experience or no degree, is because like when you're a hacker, your curiosity will get you there. So to anyone that's watching that wants my advice or my take on how to get into cybersecurity or get a cybersecurity job, give yourself the one-minded goal of becoming a better hacker. That's what I did. And it served me. I have met so many wonderful people, and I have made so many changes for myself in my life. I'm really very happy with it. Um, this is a fun industry to work in. And so if you are trying to break in, continue trying. It's worth your effort. But don't make your whole identity of yourself how can I do this with no experience? How can I do this with no degree? Like the context even of these most popular search results are people very clearly saying, I don't feel adequate for the position, but I want it anyway. Give me that which I'm inadequate for. And I pose the suggestion that you should make yourself adequate and then understand your adequacy compare yourself to other practitioners, not from an egotistical perspective, but compare yourself on how long it takes you to do a task versus how long it takes someone else to do a task. Because once you've made that measurement, you will have already done a task, right? And that's something you can put on your resume. You can write, oh, well, I did this. What could a task be? It could be a capture the flag event. Those are free for entry every time. You should go in with absolutely zero experience, look at a set of guidelines, and then, try and fail. Trying and failing is your modus operandi just try and fail for 6 months. And if you try really hard and you fail really hard, you will land a job. It's not that it'll be easy. It's just that it's possible in 6 months, right? It can be done. So what I suggest is, don't get trapped in, I'm just going to call it a noob trap. Endearingly, of course. Don't get caught in the noob trap of trying to get into cybersecurity. Just find your genuine interest and follow that. So let's just search how to get a cybersecurity job with no experience. The very first thing that's going to come up is this Google cybersecurity certificate course. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't heard of anyone having success with this product. I am sure there are examples of people out there that have had success with this product, but to me, what this is a subscription service that you're supposed to forget that you're paying for, and then it will just recurrently bill you until, you've dumped $1,000 into this thing that you're just not even logging into. I can't speak to the quality of the content because I have not attempted to get this certification, but the cost and the billing style I firmly do not believe in. However, the people who they have in the course content appear to be very knowledgeable on the subjects they're talking about. It's the presentation that I have a problem with. Also, it's sponsored, right? This is a product they're making money on. All the best information in information security is free. It is out there. You just have to go talk to the person who wrote the class, right? You can go take the class for $10,000, but if you look up who made the class, you can reach out to them on Twitter or Discord for free. So the information is available. We all love talking about this stuff. So we've got Cyber Tom here. Here's how to get a job in cybersecurity with no experience. I don't know this guy. I am going to watch his video. Any comments that I make about the content are not meant to be directed at Tom. Hopefully it goes off without a hitch, but I have a feeling I'm going to disagree with at least part of, what he's talking about.
Hey, I'm Tiffany Hall. I used to be a teacher for...
What's going on, guys? And my name is Cyber Tom, and this channel is all about cybersecurity and tech education. If you like this kind of content, please hit the notification bell at the bottom and subscribe so you get all of my latest content moving forward. Let's get into the video. So
I'll have a link to this guy's video and channel in the description as well.
you're somebody who's wondering, can you get into cybersecurity with no experience whatsoever? So it's kind of a double-edged sword. So we're going to go into some of the first things that we need to take a look at to answer that question, because of course it's not a straightforward answer. So there are some things that can get you into the field of cybersecurity without necessarily having experience per se. Now, we're going to go through some of the things, and we're going to go through some things that I typically see of HR departments that they want, and see what we can fit in there besides the experience to booster you up to get you into the position. All right, so there's 3 things.
So, first of all, I want to say that his, teasing that it's something that you can work around is definitely reality. Like when you're going to get your first job, the first hurdle is the first interview, and then every hurdle after that is just you progressively getting better at interviewing. Part of the job search, this is maybe specific to the United States. I'm not sure. I'm from the United States, so that's where I've experienced this, interviewing at a variety of companies. But it is a whole skill in and of itself, and I think it plays the role of one of those gatekeepers that I was talking about earlier. There are some very smart and talented people that I have met in my life. That's Murray. That's my cat Murray. You may have recognized him from a previous video. What's up, Murray? Tell him what's up. Tell the people what's up, Murray. Tell the people what's up. Murray's a good guy. He's my favorite. I love this. I love this man. So yeah, I mean, basically, like, figuring your resume out and laying it out in a way that you can get past an HR screening is definitely part of getting hired in cybersecurity, but it's also part of getting hired in any job. If you're bad at interviewing, I recommend you interview more.
That you're typically going to want to have to get into security, and I'm sure this could match with a lot of other jobs as well, but we're just going to stick with security for now. The three things that you're going to want to have, right, is going to be an education. You're going to want to have some kind of certifications and some kind of experience. Now this is just the typical three, okay? So the whole purpose of this video is that we're going to go at this as if you don't have that experience factor. So there's two left. So you guessed it, that's where we're going to head next. Let's see how you can gain the other two without having the experience. So I'm just going to go.
Okay, so that was like a soft landing for just saying, like, I'm going to tell you how to solve that, I think is what he's pretty much saying here. Oh, Murray's blocking my light. Oh, Murray. Oh, nice. He loafed, so I got my light back. Let's see what else he has to say, what the other two components are. So he's saying, if you don't have experience, we can still work with that, but there's two other things that you gotta have.
Go out there.
What are
and
they?
Say that I truly do believe that to get into security, your chances go up and down based on factors. Obviously, if you are somebody that has all three, you have the experience, you have the education, and you have the certifications, then you're really going to.
I disagree that these are the three most important things, but these are definitely three things that are in the conversation. So some other categories could have been who you know, and another category would be whether or not you can demonstrate a passion for the subject matter. Because the reality is, if you do want to get into cybersecurity, you should want to do cybersecurity work. And it's obviously a very broad field, but what I'm trying to get at is the people that you are competing with for the jobs are very interested in the subject matter. And because of their level of interest in the subject matter, it is very hard to compete for those jobs if you yourself are not interested in the subject matter. So, like, we all burn out, and we all have, like, various times in our employment histories that are, there are times in everyone's career that will look tumultuous, and there are times in everyone's career that will have moments of total burnout, right? Don't confuse imposter syndrome with a lack of interest. If you're not interested in the subject matter, it will be really hard to get hired. If you are interested in the subject matter, that will become the most important component of your hiring process for your first job. That is what you will be assessed on. At least that was my experience. Let's see what Tom has
Have
to
an
say.
easier time trying to find a career than somebody like me. When I got out of school, all I had was an education and some certifications, and that was all that got me into the position. But I would go to say that if somebody had my credentials on top of experience, I'm sure a lot of the times when I was applying for roles, those folks were getting the job before me, and that's just the way it is. That's the way of the game. Now there is an X factor to all of this that
What he's saying there is definitely true. Interviews in information security in the United States of America are competed. There are no exceptions, I think. There are very few situations where you will be the only applicant to a job and you will be the right applicant for a job. It's a bit of a numbers game. In my experience, you will build up momentum as you go along in your career. And organizing that momentum in kind of a marketing focused way is how I have progressed in my career. Tools like LinkedIn are really useful for this. Some people use Twitter or X. There's a variety of ways to market yourself to the various job boards, but you could even start a YouTube channel. The idea is the more of you there is to observe, the more people will believe that you can fulfill whatever role you're claiming to be able to fulfill. Right? So a huge component in getting hired is just believability. But for your first job specifically, it is your passion about the subject matter that will make the difference for you. That was my experience.
we'll discuss a little bit later on in the video. But for now, I just want to mention that to get into the security position, you're going to have some stumbling blocks of, likelihood to get in. If you have all three, you're at 100%. You're going to be at the top of the searches. So
I disagree with what he's saying there, just on the if you have all three things, that makes you the best fit. There are other components that are taken into account. It depends on where you're applying. If you're applying at a small and medium business, or if you are applying, at a company that is outside of the cybersecurity services industry, you cultural fit is probably more important than education and certification. So cultural fit is the thing that you will be judged on the hardest. If you have, depending on the organization, do your research, but if you're applying at an organization where nobody is allowed to wear body jewelry, hide your body jewelry for the interview, right? Make sure you're being perceived as they want to see you. Make sure you see yourself and you present yourself as the most sure and the most surefire candidate for the position, because that's what they'll be comparing you against post interview. What he's talking about is getting interviews, not getting jobs, in my opinion.
that being said, when you move down to the level of where I came from, was in education, and I had certifications, right? So I had two of the three. I think if you are somebody that has no experience, this is going to be 100% your best bet, right? You don't want to just have the
Okay, let's continue this video.
certification, and you don't just want to have the education. You would like to have both of these, to give you a better chance. So if you are that person now, I would highly suggest you get yourself either a boot camp.
His desk looks
For
so nice.
cybersecurity, there are a lot out there now, and a lot of companies are actually looking into these boot camps, and considering them as more of an education than they previously.
Okay, what he's talking about here, in my opinion, is it's less that the companies are taking it more seriously and more that more people who came from a boot camp background have gotten hired, which makes it all more believable for the whole system, because that's how the system works, right? It's rated on believability. This is definitely true, but all three of these things, experience, education, and certifications, they pale in comparison to the difficulty of the interviewing process, right? Like, everything he's talking about is getting an interview, not getting a job. Probably later on he'll talk more about the interviewing process, but I want you to think of these as, of if you're someone who's navigating this, I want you to think of these as two separate things. You have the interviewing process, which is a skill, and then you have the getting an interview process, which is a war of attrition with yourself. There's a billion different strategies, but the main difficulty that I ran into, at least getting my first couple of jobs, was just rewriting a resume and understanding, what a resume should look like such that it will be what that person wants to read, and then also optimizing the document to be palatable to a machine that sorts it for humans to eventually receive. All of that, though, which I experienced, can be circumvented if you just know somebody who will hire you. So you consider your strategy that it could be anything, right? You could reach out directly to a hiring manager. You could reach out directly to a CEO. You could say, hey, I'm very passionate about cybersecurity, and in particular, I have an interest in reverse engineering malware. I built this project that scrapes all of the malware uploaded to VirusTotal, downloads it, runs it in a safe containerized environment that's logically separated, physically and logically separated from anything else. It runs completely in AWS. I've optimized the costs, and I'd like to add it as a product to your portfolio. Can we have a conversation about this? I would love to work with you. That could be a strategy, but you need the confidence, and you also need to have built the thing that you described, right? Just have an interesting idea and execute on it, or talk about a time that you played with some piece of technology that made an impact on you, or you made an impact on. Executives love hearing about, oh man, what a bold statement. I'm going to roll that back and say that everybody loves a good conversation. So that should be something that you expect yourself to bring to your job interviews.
I actually am going to go into a video down maybe a week or two down the line, and I'm going to explain some of the good boot camps out there and if they're worth it in today's day and age. But I do suggest that if you're not going to get an education and get that first credential, that you at least look into some of the accredited boot camps that are out there.
You can't manage what you don't
ads
measure.
ads we love ads.
Is how...
Now the other thing is going to be certifications. I highly suggest that you get some kind of security certification. There are a ton of blue team certifications out there that are really going to help.
My opinion is that you should only get a certification if you feel like it's going to, like, the knowledge that you learn in the certification is going to help you become a better hacker. There are many certifications out there that will help you to be a better hacker. CompTIA Security Plus, is not one of them, in my opinion. However, if you are in the military or if you would like to work on DoD contracts, CompTIA Security Plus is an invaluable certification to have because you must have it or its equivalent to participate in the Department of Defense cybersecurity marketplace. So, like these things have value, but it's not inherently valuable and it's not going to get you a job. And it's not going to get you an interview either. It's going to get you more money. And in some situations, it might get you past a screening process. For example, if you're a penetration tester, there are many places that will not hire you if you don't have your offensive security certified professional certification. But there are more certifications that are kind of coming up and doing the same thing. And that's only some companies, right? That's not even necessarily the good companies. It's just some companies. So, HR teams probably talk about this stuff at retreats that they go to, just like we go to Hacker Summer Camp.
Put you at the top of that market when it comes to applicants in cybersecurity. Like I said, if you're only doing 2 out of the 3, you need to boost yourself up. So if you can get 1, 2, 3 of those certifications, it's only going to improve the likelihood that an employer is going to see your resume and it's going to pop out at them. So I have a video that I'll link here of some of the certifications that I recommend starting out to get into security. So go ahead and take a look at that video, and you'll be able to get a better understanding of some security certifications out there that are good for today's day and age. Now, that being said, maybe you're somebody who is in a tricky situation where you can't necessarily get the education or the certification for whatever reason. Maybe you're somebody that has a 4-year degree, but you can't get the certification at this time. Or maybe you're somebody who has the certifications, but you don't have the education and you can't obtain that right now. Your situation is going to be a little bit more trickier. So you're going to have to do a little bit more to put yourself above the rest. So if you are somebody with just one of those credentials, let's say you're somebody with just certifications, I'm going to highly suggest for you to get yourself into some kind of field position where you can learn the basics and give an employer some kind of leverage to put you above the rest of the folks. So in this instance, I'm going to say try to find yourself like a help desk position or an IT technician specialist kind of position that's not necessarily cybersecurity, but it's going to give you the upper hand if you're somebody with only one of these credentials, so that you can stand out to employers. So let's
Okay. That's a good take. I like what he's saying here in a sense, but I also just want to say, like, when I was going for my first cybersecurity analyst job, I was hell bent on not putting in my time. I was hell bent on going directly to a security analyst role and not settling for any help desk role or similar. I don't think I made the wrong decision for myself, and it worked out in my case. However, doing help desk support makes you a better hacker, because you will be faced with so many problems, systemic problems in the workflow that was established before you got there to unravel and fix. And it's a very similar workflow to hacking. I don't regret not having help desk experience, but I always ask people that do have help desk or sysadmin backgrounds many questions, and they have very, very valuable input on often on those questions. So that experience in a help desk role is actually worth its weight in gold, especially if you're going to be like a red team operator or a penetration tester. Um, there are other backgrounds you can come from, but I think technical support is the best one. Uh, so I think there are also strategies that could be going directly into a help desk role, intentionally doing help desk roles for 2 years, and then pivoting into cybersecurity with that experience and understanding of the users in environments. Because understanding your users is the same as understanding your attack surface. And understanding your attack surface is one of the key steps that you will take in securing your organization.
Let's talk a little bit about the X factor that I was mentioning earlier in this video. So the X factor is going to be you. Okay, the X factor is going to be you and who you are as a person. That's something that nobody else can take from you and that only you can provide to the company. Now, they're going to see that version of you when they're interviewing with you and when you're trying to get that position. And this is just going to be some of your soft skills, how you present yourself. If you're a vocal and a good at communication, these are important things that not everybody has. And if you're somebody that has that naturally, this is going to be the X factor for you. This is going to actually take you out of these specifications I'm going through and give you a little bump in the field to get you in, which is great. And it's one of those things that you may not see in yourself, but others will see in you. So always keep that in mind. Don't let any of these videos ever discourage you in any way, shape, or form. Of course, I'm not trying to do that at all. But if in some way it does discourage you, remember, if you want to get a job in this field, all these technicalities don't matter. If you have your mindset to get the position, you're going to get the position, and it's that simple.
I do agree with that. Uh, However, I would just add that you must have that intent, right? If you are to be hired in one of these competitive positions, keeping in mind that all of these positions are competed, right? You must have it in your head that you are the quality candidate that will get the job, even to the point that you might think yourself arrogant. Um, this is one of the biggest problems I have with the corporate hiring process is it demands this skill that many people never developed and never would need outside of negotiating for salary. Like that's the only time it's useful for most people, I think. But you do need to have that arrogance that you are the one who deserves the position, and you need to make everybody who you're interacting with also believe that, because believability is king.
So don't ever let anybody else discourage you. Remember to be who you are, and you will get the job that you're after as long as you put in the work to get that position. No matter if it's because of certifications, experience, education, boot camps, what have you. If you're determined, you're going to get it, and that's just my brutal, honest opinion. Now we got to the end of this video. I want to give you my personal opinion. If I was somebody with zero experience, where would I go next? I get a lot of questions about this, and I just want to answer it to clear the air with this topic. So if I'm the kind of person that has zero experience,
If I'm the kind of person that has zero experience, I want to go really, really deep and really, really narrow on something very specific, like reverse engineering, or writing Golang malware, or go take a certification that is well liked in a very specific niche in the community, like the Certified Red Team Professional certification. um, from AD Lab Security. Do something that's way harder than possible to achieve, and then digest it for 2 or 3 months. Um, it is, you will need some time to grow your skill set from zero experience, and you need to foster that genuine interest that you have in the subject matter. Get a good feedback loop around that, and you will fast track your way to your first job.
What do you know? I've been there before, so I can tell you from experience that I've had no experience, just like you. And if I'm going to give you the best tips moving forward, 100%, 100%. Now, this may change in the future, but as of right now, 2023, 100%, the first thing that you want to do is get yourself an educational degree. Now, you don't have to go in person and do this. There is a ton of online courses and classes for cybersecurity that you can obtain easily. WGU is an amazing one. It's accredited and it's fairly cheap.
WGU is a great recommendation if you're going for a degree. Um, I'm going to keep on listening to his take before I give mine.
Compared to all the other universities. Now, that's going to be number one, right? I would go even further to say go for a security certification that is relevant in the field today. You can easily do that by going into LinkedIn search or Indeed search and search some of the most sought after security certifications.
You don't got to search for them there. You should search for them in information security communities. So like join the Red Team Discord, the Red Team Village Discord, and the Blue Team Village Discord. Go find out what those things are, and then get certifications that those people talk about, or ask in general, hey, I'm new to the industry and I'm trying to get into red teaming or blue teaming or purple teaming. What certification should I go get to get exposed to the kinds of things that you guys do in your jobs? And you will get lots of good advice. Don't use LinkedIn for this.
In today's age, and check and see how many hits you're getting from these certifications. That's going to give you a good indicator of what certifications the market is looking for right now.
I misunderstood why he was using LinkedIn. It is smart to use LinkedIn in that way, but I would argue it's more important to get your interest developed than it is for you to get your job. Because like once you get your job, you still need to keep fostering your interest in the content that we're talking about. And to make that happen, you have to both perform your job duties and continue your education. And that is the journey of becoming a hacker. That is what it's like. You have to prioritize and maintain your own health and mental health while you're doing this, right? So don't just think that you're grinding to get your first job and then everything is free after that. You're grinding to get your first job and then you're grinding some more. Because it's a constantly changing environment.
So if you're that person, get the education and get the certification. I understand it's going to take a little bit of time, but if you
get the job, you want the job. Maybe it'll feel impossible to get a job without these things, but if you're getting interviews, you're getting a percent chance every time. Okay? So, if you find yourself in a situation where you can get the job instead of getting the formal education or instead of getting the certification, I mean, certainly do all three, but get the job first.
Truly want to get into security, these are going to be the two things that I highly recommend for you to do first. So that's going to do it for the end of this video. If you're that person that doesn't have any experience, these are going to be some key tips for you. And I highly suggest that you take these tips with you and take them seriously, because I have been in your position and I understand what it's like to not have any experience and to feel like you're kind of looked down on compared to other applicants. You need to use what you have towards your advantage, and that's going to be those things that I've already mentioned previously in this video. And don't ever forget about your X factor, which is you as a person. That's something that nobody else can bring to the table. So thanks for watching, guys. Always like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. I've been loving talking to all you guys down in the comments, and look out for more content. That's all I got today. See you.
That was a great video. You know, obviously we differ on some of our opinions on these things. Like, there are definitely people that would argue that my suggestion to arrogantly go for the job that you think you'll love is like bad for the industry. In my opinion, that's just gatekeeping. Like, the bar is not that high. That's not to say it's easy to get in. It's just to say that sometimes people get in and they had the wrong motivations, or they overestimated the workload that they would be able to take on, or they were given a workload that is undigestible by a human being, because sometimes that's what we're tasked with in a security operations center. Like, blue teamers have it rough. And so do red teamers sometimes, right? Like, no matter what job you're doing in cybersecurity, it can feel, and it will sometimes feel like you can't win. But the context of, like, most of this content about getting into the industry is talking about getting into the industry as being the win, but that's not the win. Doing the work is wonderful. If you are searching for a career that you will have an opportunity to love and grow in and contribute to things that matter and meet people that you grow to love and make friends, you are looking in the right place. This is an above average career field in terms of the interesting conversations you get to have, in my opinion. If you get your degree, they will treat you like you have no experience. If you get experience while you're getting your degree, they will not treat you like you don't have experience. Being treated like you have no experience is detrimental to job prospects. So get some experience. There is an organization called B-Sides, that just the letter B, sides. B-Sides is an organization that hosts local security meetups, where hackers can go and meet each other and do low-cost trainings, and you can go meet the cast, right? Like, you're going to make a lot of new friends on this journey. So don't wait to do that. Those people aren't always hiring, but they are always your peers in the industry who are working the jobs. So if you go and meet them, maybe you can meet someone who can get you placed, or maybe you can meet someone who can get you on track. Build a home lab. You should have a home lab. What is a home lab? You can Google it. It's basically an infrastructure of some kind for you to take care of. You can fill up some disks and then run out of storage and then freak out about it. You can build yourself a Kali Linux virtual machine. I'll do some videos on some of this stuff as soon as I have the will and desire to do so. But if you're looking to get into the cybersecurity industry and you're looking for the right reasons, then you're in a good situation. Um, if you think that this is the highest compensated thing you could be doing for relatively low effort, you're very misguided. Um, that's not to say it's not highly compensated, and that's not to say that um, you can get in with relatively low effort. It is definitely not possible to get in with relatively low effort, and there are much higher compensated positions that are just as easy or easier to get into, just depending on your skill set, right? Like an entry level software sales job will financially outperform most technical security work. Not all, but most. So if you're getting in just for the money, you will have a much harder time getting in. But if you're getting in because you want to learn more, you will become a huge asset to every organization that you work with. And that should be your goal. Become a better hacker. That is how I got in. So that's that on that. I think this was a pretty good video that we watched. I probably have more to say about how to get into cybersecurity influencers, but what I really wanted to illustrate was the experience I had getting in, and how different I see it than some of these people making this kind of like how to get into cybersecurity content, because it's not a solved problem. Like you have more to offer than people give you credit for. And you need to protect that and foster that and then bring that with you to the industry, because then you're going to bring some insight that none of the rest of us saw, and it's going to change the world. So, just be kind to yourself and figure out how to be a better hacker, and you're sure to make it. Don't forget to like the video if you liked it, and subscribe if you're new here. I'm so excited to make more content for y'all, and if you stuck around to the very end, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Bye bye. Goodbye.